Touch is such an unassuming concept, isn't it? I mean, it's everywhere. Shaking hands, a hug, even brushing past someone. But it's also everything. It makes us human. There's this undeniable psychological and physiological impact that touch has, not just on our relationships, but on our emotional well-being. And when we talk about meaningful companionship, that sense of connection isn't just nice. It's absolutely vital.
You're so right, Eric. Touch has this way of breaking down barriers, right? It's like in that moment when someone genuinely reaches out, they're saying, I see you, I'm here for you. And believe me, I've seen how transformative it can be. It's not just about physical closeness, it's about that emotional connection we're all craving.
Exactly. Studies have even shown that something as simple as a reassuring pat on the back or holding someone's hand can reduce stress hormones like cortisol and increase oxytocin, what they call the love hormone. It's fascinating how much our bodies are wired for this kind of interaction.
Oh, and it doesn't just stop at reducing stress, does it? It's like touch opens this gateway to deeper trust and intimacy. When I was growing up in Texas, that close, warm connection was everywhere. And living in Myrtle Beach now, I bring that same idea to my approach to companionship. It's all about creating a space where someone feels valued and understood, body and mind. Like, hey, you matter.
That's such an interesting perspective, Eva. You're saying it's less about the act of touch itself and more about the context, the intent behind it. A cozy evening, or even just an open, genuine conversation. Those are things that make a person feel connected in a meaningful way.
Exactly, Eric. For me, it's also about seeing those walls come down. When you show someone that genuine touch and connection are safe, it's like you're giving them permission to just be themselves. And that's where the magic happens.
Fascinating. So it's as if touch becomes a kind of unspoken language, filled with trust, comfort, and even healing.
Totally. And when that connection happens, it can really shift how people see themselves and others.
Eva, as we've been talking about the transformative power of touch and connection, it makes me think about how those same dynamics shape the idea of companionship. There's often this stigma, a misconception really, that companionship is either transactional or even dehumanizing. But isn't it so much more? Beyond presence, it's about fostering that genuine emotional bond like we were just describing.
Exactly, Eric. And it's frustrating because people tend to lump all companionship under one broad category without looking deeper. For me, it's about breaking those stereotypes. In my practice, I've seen how companionship, when done right, can create this incredible sense of validation and care for people who feel unseen.
That's such an important point, Eva. It's the difference between a service that's empowering versus one that dehumanizes. And at the core of this distinction is kindness and mutual respect. When those are present, everything changes. Have you noticed that in your work?
Oh, 100%. I see it every day. I had this one client who came to me saying he felt judged everywhere he went, even for needing connection. And when we started talking, it wasn't about the touch initially. It was about creating the safe space where he felt heard. Over time, you could visibly see his confidence return. He started walking taller, smiling more, like he finally allowed himself to feel deserving of kindness.
That's incredibly touching, Eva, and it illustrates a broader point. When people are treated with respect and dignity, it validates their humanity. It pushes back against that societal narrative that says seeking connection makes you vulnerable or weak.
Oh, absolutely. And I'll tell you, Eric, it's not just about responding to loneliness. Sometimes people come in carrying so much judgment from others or even themselves, when they realize that companionship can be about mutual respect and care. It's like this weight gets lifted.
So it's about redefining what companionship means, stripping it of any societal judgment, and seeing it for what it really is, a transformative human need. That's quite powerful.
It is, Eric. And once people get past those stereotypes, they begin to see how meaningful those connections can be.
Following what we just discussed, Eva, about mutual respect and redefining companionship, it's clear that emotional spaces are at the heart of it all. These are environments where people feel seen, truly valued, and safe to be themselves. It's about cultivating trust so that people can lower their guard and embrace meaningful connection.
Yes, exactly, Eric. This is something I focus heavily on in my sessions. Take something like the coconut body rubs I offer. It's not just about the physical comfort. It's about the emotional nurturing that comes with it. It's about saying, hey, you're cared for, body and mind.
That's such an interesting perspective, Eva. So even these seemingly small physical offerings, like a body rub or essential bath, become part of a larger emotional support system.
Absolutely. Think about it. How often do people really experience intentional care? Something as simple as the warm water in a bath, or the gentle texture of a coconut oil massage can be deeply grounding. It helps people reconnect with themselves in ways they didn't know they needed.
And it all ties back to creating that environment of unconditional respect, where they feel safe to relax and explore that connection without fear of judgment.
Right? I remember a listener reaching out to share their story, actually. They'd been struggling with anxiety and feeling disconnected after a tough year. They finally decided to try companionship, not because they needed someone to fix anything, but because they needed time in a space where they could just be themselves. After a few sessions, they wrote to me saying how much lighter they felt, like they could breathe again.
That's so moving, Eva. It really underscores how powerful these experiences can be, not just in the moment, but in their lasting impact on someone's mental health and sense of self.
Exactly. And stories like that remind me why this work matters so much. Connecting with people in these safe, nurturing ways can change not just their day, but their entire outlook.
Well said, Eva. Creating safe emotional spaces isn't just about companionship. It's about empowerment, healing, and recognizing each person's worth.
Totally. And when people feel seen and valued in these ways, they take that feeling with them, spreading it to others. It's really a ripple effect of kindness and connection.
And on that note, I think we've explored something incredibly important today. Eva, thank you for sharing so much of your insight and passion. It's always a privilege to have these conversations with you.
Thank you, Eric. It's been such a meaningful conversation. And to our listeners, thank you for joining us. Until next time, take care of yourselves and those around you.